You've been there, staring at that looming task, the deadline ticking, yet you find yourself scrolling, cleaning, doing anything but the one thing you know you should be doing. The immediate conclusion, often whispered by an inner critic or shouted by external judgment, is simple: you're lazy. But what if that deeply ingrained belief, that self-condemnation, is fundamentally wrong? What if the culprit isn't a lack of discipline or an inherent character flaw, but rather a sophisticated, often invisible psychological defense mechanism? For too long, we've misdiagnosed this pervasive human experience, branding millions as inherently flawed when, in reality, they're navigating a complex internal landscape driven by forces far more intricate than mere indolence. This isn't about willpower. It's about understanding the hidden science behind why we delay. One of the most insidious architects of procrastination is the profound fear of failure. It's not just about failing the task itself, but what that failure might mean about us. Our brains, wired for self-preservation, often perceive potential failure as a threat to our self-esteem, our identity, even our social standing. To avoid this perceived emotional pain, we unconsciously choose to delay, creating a buffer zone where the outcome remains uncertain and our self-worth is momentarily protected. This isn't a conscious choice to be unproductive. It's a deeply ingrained protective response, a desperate attempt to shield our fragile ego from the harsh reality of not meeting an expectation. The logic, however flawed, is that if we never start, we can never truly fail. Closely linked yet distinct is the paralyzing grip of perfectionism. This isn't the healthy pursuit of excellence. It's the impossible demand for flawless execution, a standard so astronomically high that any attempt feels doomed before it even begins. The perfectionist isn't lazy. They are often overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of achieving an unattainable ideal. Rather than produce something imperfect, they produce nothing at all, trapped in an endless loop of planning, researching, and refining. The fear isn't just of failure, but of mediocrity, of not living up to an internal image of supreme capability. This extreme pressure creates an aversion to starting, because starting means opening the door to imperfections, to criticisms, to the inevitable reality that nothing is ever truly perfect. Then there's the insidious whisper of self-doubt, often manifesting as imposter syndrome. Even highly capable individuals can find themselves crippled by an internal narrative questioning their competence, their right to success, or their ability to complete a task. If you believe deep down that you're not truly capable, delaying the task becomes a convenient way to avoid confirming that belief. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy in reverse. By procrastinating, you create a scenario where you might fail, thus seemingly validating your initial doubts. This isn't about a lack of desire to succeed. It's about a fundamental insecurity that makes the prospect of engagement and the potential exposure of perceived inadequacies too daunting to confront head-on. The task becomes a mirror reflecting internal uncertainties. So, the next time you find yourself caught in the procrastination loop, pause. Instead of defaulting to the tired accusation of laziness, ask yourself, what hidden enemy is truly at play here? Is it the shadow of past failures, the impossible burden of perfection, or the quiet erosion of self-belief? Understanding these underlying psychological roots is the first crucial step towards dismantling the cycle. It reframes procrastination not as a moral failing, but as a solvable psychological puzzle, a complex interplay of emotions and cognitive biases that can be understood, addressed, and ultimately overcome. By identifying your personal triggers, you begin to reclaim control, transforming a perceived weakness into a powerful insight for growth and genuine productivity. So, if procrastination isn't a character flaw but a complex psychological response, how do we disarm it? The answer lies not in willpower, but in strategy. We need to trick our brains to lower the barrier to entry so dramatically that starting becomes easier than resisting. This is where the 5-minute habit comes into play, a powerful evolution of the widely recognized 2-minute rule. While the 2-minute rule suggests that if a task takes less than 2 minutes, you should do it immediately, its true power lies in its psychological hack. It's not about finishing the task, but merely about starting it. We're going to amplify this principle, extending its reach and deepening its impact to tackle even the most daunting projects. The 5-minute habit asks you to commit to just 5 minutes of focused work on any task you're avoiding. Just 5. Not 50, not an hour, not even 10. The beauty of this isn't in the 5 minutes themselves, but in the psychological shift they create. When faced with an overwhelming project, our brain often triggers an avoidance response because the perceived effort is too high. But 5 minutes? That feels manageable. It's too short to feel intimidating, too insignificant to trigger significant resistance. This small, almost trivial commitment bypasses the brain's natural tendency to seek comfort and avoid discomfort, allowing you to slip past the initial wall of inertia. To apply this effectively, you must first break down your overwhelming task into its absolute smallest, most non-intimidating components. If you need to write a report, don't think write report. Think open document, write one sentence, or find one statistic. If you need to clean your house, don't think clean house. Think put one item away or wipe one surface. The goal isn't progress in those 5 minutes, it's initiation. It's about getting your hands dirty, literally or figuratively, for a short, predefined period. And if you're finding this concept helpful so far, please take a moment to hit that like button and let me know in the comments what one daunting task you're going to apply the 5-minute habit to first. Your engagement helps us bring more valuable content like this to you. What often happens after those 5 minutes is truly remarkable. Once you've started, once you've built that tiny bit of momentum, the task no longer feels as daunting. The initial resistance fades, and you might find yourself naturally continuing for another 5, then 10, then 20 minutes. Or you might stop after 5, and that's perfectly fine. The win isn't in finishing the task, but in proving to yourself that you can start it. Each successful 5-minute sprint rewires your brain, teaching it that starting isn't painful, it's just a small step. This consistent, low-stakes practice erodes the fear of starting, transforming it from a monumental hurdle into a series of manageable micro-actions. This isn't about brute force, it's about psychological leverage. It's about making starting so incredibly easy that not starting requires more effort. Imagine the cumulative power of consistently initiating tasks this way. You're not just tackling individual items on your to-do list, you're fundamentally changing your relationship with work and effort. You're building a habit of action, a muscle for initiation. The 5-minute habit isn't just a productivity hack. It's a profound shift in mindset that makes procrastination less about a lack of motivation and more about a lack of a simple, repeatable strategy. It makes starting inevitable, and once you start, anything is possible. You've harnessed the power of the 5-minute rule, breaking inertia and making that crucial first move. But starting is only half the battle. True mastery lies in sustaining momentum, transforming a brief burst of effort into a consistent, unstoppable force. This isn't about brute forcing tasks, but intelligently structuring your environment and mindset to make continued progress feel natural, even inevitable. We're building a robust system that supports long-term goals, addressing deeper psychological undercurrents that often pull us back. Cultivate an internal engine that keeps you moving, even when motivation wanes, ensuring your initial spark doesn't fizzle out. To keep that engine running, 2 powerful tools: effective deadlines and strategic reward systems. Forget arbitrary dates. An effective deadline is specific, realistic, and crucially, has consequences. It's a commitment creating subtle pressure. Pair this with a well-designed reward system for a positive feedback loop. These aren't bribes, but acknowledgments of effort. Whether a short break, a favorite snack, or a dedicated hour after completing a significant chunk of work, these rewards reinforce positive behavior, making sustained effort more appealing. The key is immediacy and relevance, linking the reward directly to the completed action to strengthen that neural pathway for productivity. Sometimes, even the best internal systems need external reinforcement. This is where external accountability becomes your secret weapon. Simply telling a trusted friend, colleague, or mentor about your intentions and progress drastically increases your commitment. Knowing someone else is aware provides a powerful impetus to follow through. This isn't about fear of judgment, but leveraging our natural inclination to honor commitments to others. Join a mastermind group, find an accountability partner, or publicly declare your weekly goals. Vocalizing intentions to an external party creates a psychological contract, making it significantly harder to retreat into procrastination, transforming a solitary struggle into a shared journey. Yet, even with these strategies, a formidable internal enemy often lurks: perfectionism. It masquerades as a virtue, but in its debilitating form, it's a silent killer of momentum, paralyzing us with fear that anything less than flawless is failure. This mindset leads to endless tweaking, delaying submission, or never starting, convinced our efforts aren't good enough. The antidote is the good enough mindset. This isn't about settling for mediocrity. It's about recognizing consistent, imperfect action far outweighs perfect inaction. Progress, not perfection, is the true measure of success. Ship it, iterate, improve later. Embrace that your first draft, your initial attempt, will never be perfect, and that's precisely okay. This liberation from flawlessness allows you to maintain flow, learn from implementation, and continually refine your work, rather than being trapped in self-criticism. By combining the 5-minute rule with structured deadlines, strategic rewards, external accountability, and the liberating good enough mindset, you create an unshakable framework for sustained productivity. You're not just fighting procrastination. You're fundamentally reprogramming your approach to tasks, building resilience, and fostering a healthier relationship with your ambitions. This journey from inertia to unstoppable momentum is within your grasp, transforming overwhelming goals into manageable, satisfying steps. Don't let another day be stolen by delay. Start small, stay consistent, and embrace imperfect action. If you're ready to master your productivity and unlock your full potential, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more insights into conquering psychological barriers to success. Your most productive self is waiting.